Hey y'all! Welcome to Witty Witty Banter!
I'm Monica.
And I'm Paola, and today is our Burning Questions episode.
All right.
Well, before we start asking all the questions, I have something different I want to start. So we are going into fall.
Yes,
and
I can finally wear my sweater.
Yes. And I know that a lot of people suffer from seasonal depression, and I just want to make sure that my people are okay and doing well, and if I can help in any way, I am here. So I want to ask a mental health check-in. I want to ask how you're doing mentally and emotionally.
Well, Dr. Paola. It all started. No,
hold on, where's my notepad?
No, ultimately, I am one of those people that suffer from it too. So thank you for doing that check-in because it is super important. And I think that's a good thing to bring to our viewers too.
Yeah.
Our listeners, our viewers. But yeah, it's something I struggle with. The holidays are always really hard, really difficult. But today is a good day. Today, I have a really, really good feeling about everything. I know what's funny, though, that I say that, though, because when I came in with Theary, I was like, these curtains and this and that, and somebody drove me off the road.
She was on one before the coffee, y'all.
So I do want to give a big shout out to Mark Jokel for getting me a coffee before recording because he knows very, very well that I do better caffeinated. So thank you, Mark. We really appreciate it. Mark is with Create Texas, Create Epic.
Yes, if you have not tuned into his interview, please do so. It's episode 10. Mark Jokel comes in and sits on our hot seat, and we ask him a few questions about himself. I learned a bit about him, even though I've been working with him since June.
Yeah,
it was.
Whenever he first told me that he was in New Orleans, I don't think I would have ever thought that man was from New Orleans.
Right, but now that he did speak on that part of his life, I was like, oh yeah, he's from New Orleans.
What I think was kind of funny is we kind of compared him to our jazz teacher at Booker T.
Yes.
Because they have the same kind of personality, but Mark is, obviously a breath of fresh air, so.
Yeah.
That's, but as far as for me and my mental state and everything, I feel good right now. I'm in the comfort of my best friend and another friend of ours, Theary, behind the mic, which we're going to bring him on today.
Yes.
Again, I like the fact that he was able to answer a question. And so
I know, that was sweet. Yeah. I'm glad you asked him last month. That was awesome.
Yeah. All right. So we'll be honest and say that we may have only gotten one or two burning questions in our accounts. And so when it comes to that kind of thing, please guys, just send your questions in any way. If you want to ask me a question, Paola a question, Theary a question, we do have our Gmail account, wittywittybanter@gmail.com. We do have our TikTok where you can actually message people in there.
Yeah.
I think last episode I was like, send me y'all's TikTok trends that y'all want us to do because we're trying them out. We are trying them out.
Yeah. So if you want to see us do something on TikTok, please send us the viral challenge that you want us to try, and we will try our best.
Yeah. But before we move on to the burning questions, how are you doing?
I am doing pretty good. I think I'm at 7, just because there's so much going on, and it's just planning.
Yeah.
And now it's doing all the things that we planned. And so it's just okay, am I missing anything? Just trying to
you were like
keep
me last week,
my head on my shoulders, keep my feet planted on this ground, because yes, we're coming with a lot of new stuff.
Yes.
My husband Christian's birthday is on Friday, Yay! October 4th. So
happy birthday.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Last year we celebrated on the main stage at the state fair. This year we have a dinner ready, and he's going to be performing with his band Downtown Fever that night. So awesome. I'll send you the details, girl.
Yes, I plan on being there. Yes. I want to be there. Just let me know. I'll move some stuff around just for him because that's my brother-in-law right there. Everybody.
Yes. I love you, baby. Happy birthday.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I was like that 2 weeks ago with the benefit, so I can only imagine. And you putting that together, as well as, you're performing right now at the Texas State Fair, which everybody please go out and watch my girl perform. It's you can watch videos and you can see her here all shiny and warm and nice. But on stage, she's a beast. So y'all have to definitely
I
come on out.
try.
Yes. She's like,
But burning questions.
Yes.
I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
Since I've already started the question
Might
trend.
as well.
So I don't know if you've heard all the things going on about like Chapelle Roan, like clapping back to her like mega fans and, setting boundaries. And I kind of had like a conflicting type of like, I don't know, opinion of how she did it. For those of you who do not know, Chapelle Roan is a pop artist who
just busted on the scene.
Like rose up to stardom within a year.
Yeah.
Like she released an album last year, The Rise and Fall of a Midwestern princess. Yes. And so I'm like, girl, did you like prophesize that? Like the rise and fall? I don't know. But it's been a year that she has that album out. She headlined in Coachella and Lollapalooza was like the biggest thing. Yeah. Biggest audience, I believe. But she has been experiencing very like I guess strong like fan harassment. And so she went on, was it TikTok where she did a conversation of like, if you're on the street and you see a random woman walking down the street, would you yell at her? Yeah. Would you try to take a picture with her? If you saw somebody like a stranger, would you approach them? And she's like, no, you wouldn't. And so for me, I'm kind of like, you're not a stranger. Right. You're kind of like in
the middle about
it's like you're famous.
You're up there.
You're famous.
And it's not even like just the fact of her being famous. Like it's a now thing. You know how there's like famous people and they're not really doing anything at the time?
Yeah.
She's doing the thing. She's doing the damn thing. Yes, and she's famous. She's
currently famous.
Yeah. I believe at the VMAs she won Best New Artist.
Yeah,
which is a huge deal. And so I saw the videos because they're everywhere. They're on Instagram and TikTok.
Right.
But I think it was on TikTok first. And a lot of the other artists outside of her are siding with her in the sense of like, yeah, like we get harassment all the time. I am the type of person. So I guess that was the question.
Yes,
right?
That's the question. It's like, what do you think about what she's saying?
So I think there's always a way to go about things. I think there's always a way to conversate with your fans as well as very crazy people, because there are two different forms of that. There is your fans where they see you, they idolize you, they adore you, they go to your shows, they buy your merch, they love you as an artist. And then there are just people that go way above and beyond that and try to grab you and try to, put you in very uncomfortable situations, as well as, just make you feel just icky. So I think there's two different forms of fans. And I think the ones that she was initially addressing were the ones that were going overboard.
Right.
Because I think the thing is that as an artist, like we're, in our communities, we're pretty big, Tejano and Cumbia. But it's never, hopefully it'll get to a point where like people do recognize us on the street, where they do want to take pictures, where they do feel comfortable enough to like come up to us and ask for an autograph. We don't know that type of like harassment.
Definitely.
But I can't sit there and say that I have never been like harassed before online or on social media or whatever. And people just going above and beyond to try to make me uncomfortable.
Right.
I only know what that looks like online. I can't even imagine what it would be like to be walking around your neighborhood and having to hide yourself because you're worried somebody's going to come out of the bushes.
Yeah, definitely.
Do I agree with how it was said? Probably not, because ultimately I don't disagree in the fact that she doesn't owe anybody anything as far as like outside of her performance, because again, once you're off the stage, you are in your own personal life.
Yeah.
Unless like you're on the side of the stage or taking pictures or making yourself known in front of people. That's part of the job.
Yeah.
But if you are in the comfort of your own city or just walking or just trying to have dinner and you're not putting on a show and you're not opening up your bubble for like autographs and pictures, then yeah, like don't, if you ask nicely is the way that I see it. So if I'm putting myself in her shoes, if somebody were to just come up to me and just kind of tap me lightly, like, hey, like I know that you're in the middle of your dinner or you're in the middle of something, I just want to say like you're great, can I take a picture with you? That seems to me a fan, normal fan type base.
Right.
But when you're grabbing somebody and you're like expecting them to just put on the show because
Yeah, definitely. I agree. That's where I had like my conflicting like opinion, because on one side I hear her 100%, like she deserves to put her boundaries out there and she deserves to have the privacy that she desires as a famous person.
Yeah.
But on the other side of things, it's like you're not a normal person anymore. You do have a platform, which obviously you are using to bring awareness to these things. However, the way you bring awareness needs to be in a way that is inclusion and not separation and aggression, because it almost seems like she kept it in for so long that she just like
I think that's what it was. I think it was an outburst. I think
it was very much an outburst.
And she's a young person, right? So she's what, 20, around 20, 21? I want to say allegedly. I'm not
sure how old she is.
Like, but I know that she's younger.
Right.
And especially when fame hits you like that, what do you do?
Yeah,
how do you
it's
react?
hard.
How
it's
do
hard.
you respond?
Right, right.
But I do.
How would you respond to that? I think I have my response that I would do, and I'm curious to see how you would respond to all of that stuff.
As far as like the harassment?
Yeah, or bringing awareness to the fact that you are being harassed.
I would have probably like called out my fan, or like actually got online, really thought about what I was going to say first. I don't think I would have done, because I don't think she did a live. I think she recorded something and then
posted it. Yeah, I think so too.
So I think I would have gone that aspect, but I probably would have, had said like, hey, like, I love you guys. I really appreciate y'all supporting my music, supporting, everything, playing the song on the radio. Thank you guys for voting for me at the VMAs, whatever. But I do need y'all to understand that I am a human too, and I do have some boundaries. Please, if you see me at dinner, or if if you're trying to get my attention, you don't have to yell at me. I can definitely hear you from where I'm standing. Or, but then again, you can sit there and say your response to things, but are people gonna actually respect your boundaries?
Right. Yeah, no, I think that I would also do that, like come from a aspect of gratitude, because I think a lot of her fans who are respectful and are quote unquote normal fans, they felt really hurt by her comments, because at the end of the day, like the people who support you, like the fans, they're the ones who put the bread on the table for you. Like, yes, we have a job to bring you quality music that you will be able to feel, and hopefully move you to the point where you do want to buy something from us so that we can continue doing what we do. And so I think that a lot of people who knew her from a year ago are feeling a little hurt because there wasn't an aspect of gratitude that was being put out there. It was more of like almost like a like threat, like I'm gonna stop playing music, I'm gonna stop doing this if y'all don't stop doing that.
And then you also have to identify who's actually doing the wrong.
Yes, because and this is something I learned from being a teacher. So like all of the things that I learned in the classroom and as being a teacher, like I'm bringing it with me to performances, I'm bringing it with me to this new lifestyle that I have, because it's like kids are the people who are the most honest and sometimes brutally honest, And as teachers, a lot of the times I know people growing up, I've heard people being like, man, my teacher used to just blame the whole class and everybody got in trouble.
Yeah.
And so go back to that. Go back to that and be like, it's like, oh man,
it happened to us too.
Yes, it happened to us. And it's like, that's not fair. That's not okay. It's like, yes, address the whole and say, hey, this is something that I'm not liking. these are some things that I want to bring awareness to, like being harassed, and give an anecdote, be like, hey guys, like this happened to me maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and I'm not okay with that, and so now I'm going to place some boundaries to do that. But if, like you said, if you want to come and say hi to me, please do it in a like very polite way,
Yeah.
because I am open
Yeah.
to connecting with y'all,
I'll answer you if
I'll
you
answer
like
you.
do it respectfully. Now, if you're like
Yeah.
grabbing my arm or
Right.
like my hair, I think that's what was happening.
Yes.
If you're grabbing me in inappropriate ways, or you're trying to, grab ass or
yes, like
I mean,
no.
I know it's there, but I mean but ultimately you wouldn't want that happening to your daughter, your sister, your best friend, your mom. So just don't do it to other people.
Right.
It goes back into like kindergarten. If you don't want it done to you, don't do it to other people.
Others. The golden rule. Yeah. And so it's like, if you're going to address an issue, yes, reprimand the behavior from that one individual, but don't like punish the whole because of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 people.
Right.
Like if it was the millions of fans that you have, then hell yeah, call them all out, But if it's been like something that you've been experiencing, maybe every other time, like yes, I agree with her. Like I shout out to Chapelle Roan, because she is stepping up and she is bringing awareness to all these things that a lot of artists haven't in the past, and they just kind of go with it. And it's like, oh, that's fame. It's like, no, there are ways to navigate fame. I believe I'm not there yet. Like you said, like we haven't experienced that yet.
Not on that level.
Not on that level. However, I think that we are getting tools for our toolbox to be able to navigate, and looking at Chapelle Roan, being able to say, oh, this is how she handled it. Maybe whenever, if God willing and never does, if that were to happen to me, how would I go about this? Because I don't want to hurt the people who have brought me to this point.
Right.
Like I think that's the biggest thing. It's just showing gratitude, staying humble, and just like addressing the problem with the problem itself. And if you want to do it in a bigger platform, then say, hey, this person, or not even calling them out, but just being like, one individual did this to me.
Yeah.
This is my story. Either y'all can follow my boundaries and I will feel safer, or y'all won't and I'm gonna, act accordingly. But it doesn't have to be like rage or anger, I think.
Yeah. I think really it was just an outburst at the time. But yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I do. I see you.
I see you. I hear you. We see you, Chapelle Roan.
Yes.
Get it, girl.
Congratulations on all of the success.
Yes, we are proud.
I mean, I love her music. It's definitely different.
It is different.
It's definitely different.
No, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like Taylor Swift meets like 2000s pop. Like,
well, it reminds me of like when we first saw Lady Gaga come up on the scene.
Yes.
Like she was so different.
Yeah, so different
than anything we had ever seen. So we're sitting here like, what? Like what? But then you bring in Chapelle Roan, who is she is a very proud queer woman. And so she sings about it in her songs, and she sings about it on stage, and she talks really openly about who she is as a person.
Right.
So,
and I think she also has bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
And so I know that probably has something to do with that, And so again, it's just a learning experience for all of us to be able to navigate the struggles of being famous, because even though people think, oh, you're famous, you have everything you want, there's always bigger problems with more money and more attention.
That's why they call it a starving artist and not a full artist or not a fat artist, because we are all starving for something.
Right.
Exactly. So, I wish her well. I can't wait to see, her growth.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I want to see how she addresses these type of issues moving forward. I think she did get some backlash, but her true fans, regardless, like they're gonna stick around. They're gonna, stand by her, because it's important to have these conversations for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Question number 2, I'm going to actually go to Theary. Womp, womp, womp. We all know that Theary is at UNT, so we have UNT alumni over here.
Yeah.
That's their meeting call. Okay. No, but Theary is at UNT all the way in Denton, and he comes every Tuesday to help us record our podcast at the Epic in Grand Prairie. It's been a busy start to the year, and so I want to see how you're doing, Theary. How is everything going with school? What do you like the most? What do you like the least?
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Theary. And the camera's on me, which is a little weird for me because I'm usually behind the camera. But so UNT, it has been going well. I've been busy with a lot of like project type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we just wrapped a short film called Strings. It's an independent short film. So not all UNT students, but that just wrapped. We're getting it edited soon. We're trying to send it to film festivals soon. So that kind of stuff.
Okay. Nice.
For that, I was the assistant camera because I kind of came in kind of late. Like it'd been in progress for 8 months, I think. And I showed up on month 8 because they had someone drop out in the camera department. So I kind of showed up. I shot some of it, helped the people who've been there because I never even read the script.
He said, "Theary to the rescue."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been happening. We're working on another film. We don't have a title yet. It's got a year left of progress, basically. But so I'm excited for that. I'm going to be the camera operator on that one. I'm going to work closely with our director, try to get some cool moves in there because that's kind of my specialty is cool camera angles and moves and type stuff. And then another short film, I'm the director of photography. It's called External Relations. My friend wrote it for Short Film Club at UNT. So that's probably been the highlight is just all the like collaborative stuff I've gotten to work on because my biggest regret is I didn't do a lot of that in the last years I was at UNT. So I've been getting a lot of really cool projects.
Yay.
And I'll flash some of them on there if we have any. Yeah, so I'll keep y'all posted about any like film fest runs and stuff we do with those. But so that's probably my favorite thing. My least favorite thing, I'm stuck between two. So I've got one is this editing class, and bless her heart, the teacher's great. It's just the software is giving me a headache. I cannot. It's like you have to rewire your whole brain kind of thing. It's like you learn one software. So I've been using Adobe for 8 years at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And now I have to like use this whole new software with all these new hotkeys. All these tools aren't here. They're here instead. It's complete headache. But that's not really the worst. The worst one is this international film history class. International film history up until 1945. So what that means is all that means is silent, black and white, French realism. Like
that sounds like nap time.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. 3 hours a week. Like it's a 3-hour class. We watch these long 2-hour movies that are silent and black and white. The worst. The worst. I hate that class so much. So that's going to be my least favorite. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing good. It was busy with all the stuff I've had going on. This is like my first week in a while where I'm like, I am completely rested up. So yeah, I'm excited for all the stuff I've got going on.
Yay,
right.
Theary.
We have a Theary update.
Yes.
That was our Theary update.
Yeah. You're going to have to come up with something. Theary update.
Yeah. Yeah. So our friends and family, they know that it's us, right? And our listeners and our viewers know that it's us, but they also know that there's another person in the room. And so we'll start doing some Theary updates with you guys.
And you got to see him this time. Last time you just got to hear his voice.
With a picture.
But this is our editor, Theary. And so yes, we want to put him on the spotlight and not keep him just behind the camera and the board.
Yeah.
And our final question that was actually submitted by one of our really good friends from high school.
Yeah.
Her name is Eleni. Shout out. And she started listening to our podcast from day one. And she was like the first person to ever share our podcast on her story, inviting her friends to listen to us. So thank you, Eleni, for all the support from the beginning, from the bottom of our hearts.
We really
love
appreciate
you.
it. We love you very, very much. And hopefully I get to see you next time. I know you were in town. I didn't know that you were in Austin.
Yeah.
So if I would have known that, I would have moved things around. So I hope next time you're here, we can all go have some breakfast. And some chit-chatting going on.
Yeah, some cheese man, you know. But this is the question. Eleni asks, what performance impacted you the most?
Ooh.
Like, which one do you always think back on and think, wow, that felt incredible?
There's a lot.
I know.
Well, I wouldn't say a lot because there are some prime moments in my life where I was like, wow, I just did this, you know? Obviously everybody knows that we perform pretty much everywhere, all over DFW and many other places too. But I also do the national anthem for many different things. So, Dallas Mavericks, Texas Rangers, FC Dallas, Lone Star Park for the horse racing. But one time that I got to do the national anthem has stuck with me, will forever stick with me, was whenever I got to do the JFK Memorial. And I want to say this was like 2012 or 2013. I can't remember exactly when.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that because it was kind of cold, right?
It was freezing.
And you were like outside of the memorial.
Yeah, so basically what the city of Dallas ended up doing was it was nationally televised. There was like worldwide press that came out.
Wow.
They had, you know, they had a choir from like the military come and do, but it was right in the middle of Dealey Plaza. So like where those streets are, there's 3 different streets.
And it kind of does a little triangle, right? Like emerges.
Yeah, it merges together. But that is where John F. Kennedy was assassinated, essentially. And if you go to Dealey Plaza, you can actually see the X where it happened. There's also a museum out there because of John F. Kennedy, which was insane because that was my dad and I's like favorite president to like do research on. And for many other things too. He opened the doors for a lot of minorities, Black and Latin cultures. There was a lot of good things about him. Obviously, with every presidential person, there's always going to be some bad. But me and my dad, we love doing the research on him specifically. And to be able to have done the national anthem for the memorial and then, you know, be able to sing in front of, I think 3,000 people were in attendance, including my grandparents on both sides.
Aww. Wow, that's special.
Which is big because they were alive when they were younger when it happened.
Right.
And then my parents being there, my brother being there, it being nationally televised. That is something that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life, that I got to do something as big as that.
Yes. Yeah, no, that was incredible.
Yeah.
And like you sing the heck out of the national anthem, so I know it was good.
Well, thank you.
Dang.
But it's crazy. And then I'll go to my grandparents, like each of them, because one of my grandmothers, she lives in Brownsville, and on my mom's side, and my dad's side, my grandma lives here in Grand Prairie. They each got a copy of me performing the national anthem, and it looks very much like patriotic, like very, very like, I don't know, just very legit.
Yeah.
So I look back on that picture, I'm like, man, to me that will always be the biggest memory because somebody believed in me enough to do this and do it right.
Yes, amen. And on that, having somebody believe in you, I want to talk about our first time at Traders Village. AJ, who we will have eventually
At
on the podcast, because you guys need to meet him if you have not. I did a cold call when I first started Sabor Puro, And I literally got a yellow book, was flipping through and just seeing like restaurants, venues, anybody who wanted some live music, cumbia specifically for Sabor Puro. And Traders Village popped up, and I was just like, well, I haven't been in years, and
Give it a try.
let's give it a try. I called them. Somebody from a different department was like, oh, no, you need to talk to AJ. He's the man who manages the artists who come and perform here. And I was like, okay, great. Like, let me talk to AJ. I talked to AJ, and he's like, all right, yeah, we have an opening for this day. Like, when do you guys want to come in? This and that. Without even having heard our band or of our band, he gave us the opportunity to perform in front of hundreds of people because Traders Village, there's just a rotation of hundreds, thousands of people who go in there, in and out. And so he gave us the foot in the door there, and I said, maybe this will be the last time we ever get to play here, but it's going to be a memorable one. People will never forget this. And so I was running around, got on tables, was just like doing
Which
the
she
most.
Does still to this day,
till this day. Yes. It's almost like expected now. They're like, well, she did it before. So I think that for me, that was the most impactful because it really sent Sabor Puro into like the next stage of where we are now. And so having those people believe in you. AJ believed in us from the very beginning without even hearing us and gave us that platform and continues to give us a platform. So for that, I'm really grateful. And I think for me, that was the most impactful so far. I know the Chevrolet main stage was also another one that I was just like, wow, that felt incredible. There's just so many different ones. But because that was a stepping stone in the Sabor Puro history, that's going to be on the Wikipedia. Like, I think that one is the most impactful for me personally.
Yeah, no, AJ is amazing. I mean, I could sit here and say, which I do want to say because I didn't get to say it last episode. I do want to say, thank you so much to AJ Solis and to Nick Juarez. They were the ones that helped me put my fundraiser together for Jesse.
Yeah.
So without them, I would have been more than just chopping my head off and just running around, So, talking about AJ, he is definitely one of our friends that, really, really helps out when you need to, really, really gives you the opportunity to promote yourself. That's super important. And I'm really happy that he got to hear you and experience you at the very, very beginning.
I didn't even have a ponytail yet. That's how early on in Sabor Puro history that was. Like, I didn't even have no ponytail, the signature Paola look, and he was still super about us and definitely made a print in our story. So thank you, AJ, for having us. And then speaking of Nick Juarez, he gave me the first, are you Paola from the podcast?
Yes. So
shout out, Nick.
Paola actually came to the fundraiser
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. And Nick is somebody that, he's with the Huddle to the Bone. He does on air. He's a DJ on air. And he's a good friend of ours. He's been following my band and I for forever. So any gig that we have in the Metroplex, like, he tries to be there. And it's so good to see him because you can spot him out of the crowd immediately. Like, he is just that like light of energy. And the same thing with AJ, So Nick also does D-Town Tejano Nights for the VFW. So it's a veterans type facility.
Okay.
And so they both had some experience doing all of this. So whenever you came to the fundraiser, he was like, this is that girl from the podcast, right? This is the girl. And of course, if y'all haven't tuned in from the very, very beginning, I have met Paola as Sylvia whenever we were growing up. So if you ever hear me like slip up and say Sylvia, that is just how I announce her in the real world. Whenever I'm talking about our friendship, but whenever I'm talking about her as the artist, she will always be Paola. Okay, so I think Nick got confused whenever I was like, yeah, that's my friend Sylvia. And he's like, no, it's not. And I was like, yeah, it actually
is. How you gaslighting me? No, it's not.
And I was like, wait. And he was like, isn't that the one you do the podcast with? I'm like, yes, Paola. And he's like, oh, okay. So
yes, I know. I introduce myself now as Silvia Paola just so that people know like they're both my names.
yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna be saying that every other episode, you know.
Till the day you
till
die.
the day I die. God damn it. No, till the day I have my Wikipedia and I'll just be like
But yes, so it was really cool for them to meet you too. You met a lot of people at that fundraiser, and I'm glad you came. And I'm glad that, you know, it brought us closer too, because, you know, you're from the Dallas area, and most of the time after high school, we really didn't get to run into each other all that much.
Right.
So
yeah,
they brought you closer.
Now I stay in GP now, I guess.
At this point, you might as well move.
No, I think I'm okay.
She's like, nah, I'm good where I'm at.
But that was a good question. Thank you, Eleni. Yes. And we encourage you guys to submit your questions, whether it's through text message. If you know us personally, please call, text message your questions. You can also email us at weedyweedybanter@gmail.com. We have our TikTok and our Instagram, so you can DM us your questions. We do a monthly Ask Us Anything in our stories, so go ahead and follow me at Silvia Paola, which is SYLVIAPA_Hola. So you can go ahead and ask me those questions when they pop up in the story, and you can follow Monica.
Yeah, so most of my social media is going to be Monica Saldivar Music, so that's my Instagram. If you want to ask me on Instagram, Facebook, if I am, you know, one of your friends in Snapchat, you can. I don't necessarily give out, I don't think we give out our information all that much, but, you know, the people that know who we are and are our personal friends, submit those questions, even if it's something that, you know, maybe you think you already know the answer to.
Yeah, maybe other people need to know the answers to your questions. Right. So please let us know what you're curious about, and we will answer it no matter what the question is. So we encourage you guys to also subscribe and like our YouTube channel, and also follow us on Spotify.
Yep.
But until next week, guys.
Sounds good.
Bye.